Hello, and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Simone Warren.
And I'm Hayden Standen.
We start our newscast today with renewed pressure in Washington as Epstein survivors demand the release of long classified documents. Survivors have been waiting for the release of these documents since 2019. Now, they're directing their pleas to Donald Trump.
President Trump, you have so much influence and power in this situation. Please use that influence and power to help us.
The Department of Justice has received backlash for not releasing files regarding the Epstein case. The House Oversight Committee chair made 33,000 pages of documents related to the Epstein case public. Survivors are now pushing for names.
The United Nations is urging Israel to take responsibility for a series of deadly airstrikes. The Nasser hospital was hit twice, just 15 minutes apart, leaving 20 people dead. Among those killed were 5 Palestinian journalists who had arrived on the scene to assist victims. Nasser was the last operating public hospital in southern Gaza.
The U.S. Court of Appeals is blocking Trump's attempts to use long-standing wartime laws. Trump and his administration want to deport a group of people who he alleges are in a Venezuelan gang. The administration sent the alleged gang members to prison in El Salvador, as they believed American courts could not reverse the decision. The case is expected to be looked at by the Supreme Court at a later date.
The Trump administration is firing another CDC director. Susan Menares has been fired after her refusal to resign amid pressure from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Tensions between Menares and Kennedy Jr. have been brewing over vaccine policies. Kennedy Jr. says he had to fire CDC members that weren't fulfilling their jobs.
If we don't end this chronic disease, we are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job.
Attorneys representing Menares say she did not resign because of her personal values and her dedication to science. However, the White House claims Menares informed leadership that she shared plans to step down.
A wrongfully deported man from the U.S. is now in custody as authorities plan to deport him a second time. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who has been living in Maryland, was incorrectly deported to El Salvador earlier this year. Garcia has been told by the U.S. government that he will now be sent to Eswatini, Africa. A large crowd gathered in Washington state to support Garcia. A judge has ruled that he cannot be deported until October.
Authorities are continuing their search for the remains of 7-month-old Emmanuel Hero. The baby's parents have been charged with murder, despite claiming their son was abducted. Authorities claim inconsistencies in the parent's story and now believe that Emmanuel died from abuse. Officials say they're closing in on the case.
Yes, we have a pretty strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuel are. That investigation is ongoing at this time.
The case has shaken the community of Los Angeles. Authorities are urging anyone with information to come forward.
President Trump is moving forward with his plans to cancel nearly $5 billion in aid. Trump is using a rare pocket recession to cancel the already approved aid. Democratic representatives feel that President Trump is stealing appropriated funds. Congress has until the end of this month to approve new funding, or they may be forced to shut down parts of the federal government.
2 lucky Californians are waking up nearly $1 million richer after Wednesday night's Powerball drawing. Both tickets match 5 numbers, winning just under $985,000 each. One ticket was sold in Riverside, the other in Bakersfield. 2 lucky winners have claimed the $1.8 billion jackpot in Texas and Missouri, which is the 3rd largest prize in Powerball history.
While not everyone hits the jackpot, there are plenty of ways to save money. September is National Coupon Month, and our reporter George Sakers has the latest on how digital coupons are helping shoppers keep more money in their pockets.
With the recent rise in tariffs and inflation soaring, consumers are constantly looking for ways to save. So why is it that stores are seeing a significant decline in paper coupons? Pick up your phone and you'll find the answer. Digital coupons. According to recent reports, 33% of U.S. shoppers are using digital coupons in store this year, up from 25% last year. Popular apps like Ibotta and Rakuten offer consumers the ability to view store coupons anytime and anywhere. Many tech-savvy shoppers have found ways to save big using their own personal digital coupons.
Mostly from email. I use them off of email when I get them sent to me pretty much 90% of the time, and then they have the apps on the Ralph's or CVS. Anything that's expensive because they give you 20 or 40%, so it's usually food, products for skin.
Retailers have taken notice of the surge in digital couponing, creating their own apps and programs to compete with popular apps like Ibotta and keep up with consumer demand. But not every customer is happy about the new digital changes to couponing.
Because you have to look to do something on your camera and put the QR code and things like this, and for me it's boring.
Many stores still offer paper coupons for the 23% of shoppers who prefer to use them, and they probably won't be going away anytime soon. From Calabasas, I'm George Sakers for Valley View News. Back to you guys.
Thank you, George. In lighter news, Christmas has come early for the world of tech. Apple is coming out with a variety of new products. The most anticipated product to launch is the iPhone 17 and the iPhone 17 Air. This new design is much thinner and lighter than the traditional iPhone. Apple also plans to release 2 new Apple Watches, AirPods Pro 3 and the new HomePod.
Apple isn't the only company celebrating a launch. SpaceX successfully launched Starship Flight 10. This launch came after 3 failed attempts, which all happened as a result of damage to the top of the ship. Cheers from the crowd erupted as the rocket took off. SpaceX hopes to launch Starship Flight 10 to Mars before 2030. A
brand of Trader Joe's pizza is being advised to not be eaten in California. The pizza is a frozen uncured pepperoni pizza from Italy. The Food Safety and Inspection Service found a shipment of Trader Joe's pizza that did not go through a required inspection. Customers are encouraged to discard or return the product to Trader Joe's.
Cracker Barrel's $700 million decision to change its logo is being met with heavy backlash across the country. The new logo took a minimalistic approach, removing all Southern graphics and replacing it with just text. Those against the change took to social media to express their frustration. Cracker Barrel took swift action and brought back the original logo, which has been representing the brand since 1969.
Cracker Barrel isn't the only food chain making big changes. McDonald's new limited edition sauce is as golden as the arches themselves. The new gold sauce blends honey, smoke and mustard for a bold, golden flavour. Also joining the menu, the gold snack wrap and the gold McCrispy sandwich. Want to see if you're really loving it? Head to your local McDonald's.
More to come in the world of entertainment when we return to Valley View News.
A Love Island star takes a terrifying tumble at a rodeo.
Taylor Swift smashes yet another Spotify record.
Plus, big shake-ups at Saturday Night Live. Stay with us.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back to Valley View News. Now, let's switch gears and check in with Samantha Kline in the Digital Media Center for the latest buzz in entertainment.
Yes, thank you guys. Lots of things happening in the world of entertainment, starting with a familiar face from Love Island. Rodeo rider Taylor Williams is recovering after a scary fall at the Arizona Black Rodeo. The Love Island star was thrown to the ground after a collision with another horse, which then rolled over him. He was carried out on a stretcher, but later seen walking with his arm in a sling. Williams is expected to make a full recovery. Saturday Night Live is seeing some big changes as several cast members leave and new talent steps in. Heidi Gardner and Michael Longfellow are among those exiting, following the recent departures by Devin Walker and Emil Wakim. At the same time, SNL is welcoming fresh faces like Ben Marshall and Cam Patterson, who will bring a mix of traditional and social media style comedy. Season 51 airs in early October. And while SNL is evolving their comedy sketches, a whole new kind of storytelling is taking over. Vertical mini-dramas are the new soap opera craze. Apps like Real Short release romantic comedy series in minute-long increments. Each episode is shot vertically, like content that can be found on TikTok. This type of content originated in China and has now hooked viewers around the globe. With fast-paced plots and cliffhangers every 60 seconds, these bite-sized dramas are designed to keep viewers binge-watching episode after episode. If you can put down your phone long enough to catch a break from binge-watching, TV's biggest night is almost here. The Emmys are right around the corner. Actor and comedian Nate Bargatze will be hosting as this year's winners will be unveiled. The top shows nominated for an Emmy are The Studio, Severance, and The White Lotus. To see if your favorite show won an Emmy, tune in on Sunday, September 14th. As Hollywood gets ready to celebrate its best shows, one pop superstar is planning a major return to the spotlight. Ariana Grande is making her long-awaited return to the stage with her Eternal Sunshine tour. Fans are excited to see Grande again after her success in the Wicked movie. This is Grande's first tour in 6 years. The tour takes off next June in Oakland, California, and finishes in London next August. Tickets go on sale September 18th. Ariana Grande isn't the only star making waves. Taylor Swift has broken another record, this time her own. Spotify says her upcoming album, The Life of a Showgirl, is now the most pre-saved album in the platform's history. The milestone comes just weeks after she announced the project. It beat the record previously held by her 2024 release, The Tortured Poets Department. The new album drops October 3rd. And speaking of stars, a famous lightsaber from a galaxy far, far away is up for auction. A rare Darth Vader lightsaber from the original Star Wars films is hitting the market in California. The $3 million price tag also includes other iconic movie props, like Indiana Jones's whip and Michael Keaton's Batman suit. This blockbuster sale features more than 1,000 unique collectibles from Hollywood's biggest franchises. While Hollywood memorabilia draws big attention, there's also excitement around new film and theater releases heading to the big screen. Paramount Pictures and Activision are developing a live-action Call of Duty movie based on the popular video game series. Meanwhile, a filmed version of Hamilton, featuring the original Broadway cast, is hitting theaters, marking 10 years since the musical's debut. The movie release includes enhanced sound and visuals to bring the stage production to the big screen. Well, that's all that I have in the world of entertainment from the Digital Media Center. I'm Samantha Kline. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Samantha. If the 405 is your usual route, expect your commute to be a bit longer. Lanes will be reduced on the 405 freeway along the Sepulveda Pass again this month. Caltrans is warning drivers to expect delays and seek alternative routes while the work is being done. The closure is part of a 2-year pavement restoration project.
While lanes are being reduced, students are realising they need to leave home a bit earlier to get to school on time. Our reporter, Samantha Kline, has more on the challenges of commuting during these first few weeks of school.
The fall 2025 semester at CSUN has officially begun. Students are waking up early, commuting to campus, only to be stuck in traffic.
Don't be fooled by the uncrowded crosswalks. A majority of students are here in the B3 parking structure, struggling to secure a parking spot.
So my commute this morning was a little hectic because I actually wasn't running late. I was 20 minutes early. I ordered my Uber, and I don't live that far. I live 10 minutes away from here, so I thought I was going to get here at a perfect time. But there was a huge traffic jam, and that made me completely late, and so it wasn't good.
Even returning students who left for school a bit early still got caught in the traffic jam.
I was expecting auto traffic today. I did leave about an hour and a half early before my class. I got here with 20 minutes to spare. I guess that wasn't enough time because I was already stuck in traffic all the way back down in Reseda. So even with that extra 20 minutes, I was still 15 minutes late. But yeah, I spent most of my time just in that structure trying to get out and maneuver and find a parking spot.
Traffic is expected to ease as the week goes on. For now, students may want to consider leaving up to an hour early to make it to class on time.
In Northridge for Valley View News, I'm Samantha Kline. Back to you guys.
More to come in the world of sports when we return to Valley View News.
VP Vance fires a warning shot at the NFL. Is Travis Kelce's engagement stirring up controversy on the field?
The Chiefs and Eagles gear up for a Super Bowl rematch. Will the Eagles fly high again?
And Luis Suarez is under fire. A post-match meltdown could lead to a major suspension. This and more when we return.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Welcome back to Valley View News. Now, we already covered superstar Taylor Swift before the break, but what about her new fiancé, Travis Kelce? Their engagement is shaking up the world of sports.
Vice President Vance is issuing a warning to NFL officials about favoritism. Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift announced their engagement prior to the return of football season. Vance, a Bengals fan, made it clear that referees are not to show any favoritism to the Chiefs. The NFL's referee union responded to the warning by saying it was insulting and preposterous. Did you see Mahomes' new look over the offseason?
Yes, some might say he means business this year.
I know that Super Bowl loss had to have been disappointing.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, the Chiefs are hosting the Eagles for a Week 2 Super Bowl rematch. The game is highly anticipated as Jalen Hurts and the Eagles will try to keep the winning momentum alive against Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs. The Eagles defeated the Chiefs 40-22, bringing the Vince Lombardi Trophy back home to the city of brotherly love. Who will win this regular season rematch? Tune in on Sunday, September 14th on Fox.
The NBA is launching an investigation into the Los Angeles Clippers. Kawhi Leonard received a $28 million endorsement deal from a company that Clippers owner Steve Ballmer made a $50 million investment in. The company is now bankrupt, and Leonard did no work for the environmental startup. An investigation is underway to determine whether the Clippers did this to work around the NBA salary cap.
Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh is having a historic season. The switch-hitting slugger has already set the single-season record for most home runs hit by a catcher, and we still have a month left in the regular season. He is a top contender for AL MVP, following closely behind Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge. Raleigh currently has 50 home runs on the year. He is on pace to beat Judge's record-setting 62 home run season, which he set in 2022.
With a month left in the regular season, the Dodgers and Padres are must-watch baseball. The Dodgers have the top spot in the NL West, holding a slight lead over the Padres. While it seems the Dodgers are getting stronger with players coming off injuries, the Padres recently lost Xander Bogaerts and Jason Adam to injury. The Padres have the easiest remaining schedule. However, the two teams will not face each other in the month of September. If the season ends with a tie, the Dodgers hold the season series.
Tennis player Yelena Ostapenko has taken to social media to apologize for her comments at the US Open. Ostapenko said her opponent Taylor Townsend has no class and no education. She says on social media that she was only referring to Townsend's tennis etiquette.
Speaking of controversy, one man who is no stranger to controversy is Luis Suarez. Soccer star Luis Suarez is likely facing a lengthy suspension after a heated incident during the League's Cup final. Following Inter Miami's 3-0 loss to the Seattle Sounders, Suarez was seen spitting on a member of the Sounders staff. League officials have launched a formal investigation. Disciplinary action could be announced as early as this week.
Hockey season is almost here. I know the fans must be excited. The LA Kings are beginning their preparations for the new season. They will face the Anaheim Ducks, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Utah Mammoth during preseason, which gets underway on the 21st.
It looks like hockey season is heating up, and so is the weather. For a look at what to expect this week, Dani Sapoznic has more on our local forecast.
Yes, I do. It looks like we're in for another week of summer heat. In the San Fernando Valley, temperatures are going to stay pretty consistent, falling between the high 80s to low 90s during the day. The evenings are expected to be cooler, remaining in the mid-60s. Heading to downtown, it's going to be around the same temperatures as the valley, just a little cooler. This weekend is going to stay in the low 80s, but temperatures will pick up as the week goes on. Lows will stay in the mid-60s range throughout the week. Now taking a look at the beaches, it's another great week for tanning by the ocean. Temperatures will be staying around the high 70s to low 80s, with a possible jump next Friday, averaging at around 92 degrees. It'll stay pretty sunny throughout the week with a little cloud coverage. And finally, the Inland Empire will be on the warmer side. This range of high 80s is fairly similar to the San Fernando Valley, but it's not breaking 90s just yet. The lows are around the same temperature throughout the week, dancing around the high 50s to low 60s range. And that's our weather forecast. On a more serious note, September marks Suicide Prevention Month. When we come back, we will speak with a mental health expert about signs to watch for and how you can help someone in need. That important conversation after the break.
What I thought was a complete life was nowhere near complete. But it is now.
Learn about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org.
Welcome back to Valley View News. September is National Suicide Prevention Month, a crucial time to raise awareness, reduce stigma, and provide support for those struggling with mental health. Our Samantha Kline is sitting down with a mental health counsellor to help us better understand how we could recognize the signs and offer hope.
Thank you, Hayden. Today, I am joined by Dr. Abram D. Milton, a UCS outreach coordinator who specializes in students' mental health. Dr. Milton, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's waste no time. So, when someone is struggling with their mental health, there are usually signs of that. Can you talk about maybe how we can recognize and support someone who are showing signs?
Right. As we mentioned here, usually we need to trust ourselves and our gut because we know the individuals that we love and that we care for, right? So some common signs that we may want to pay attention to is there may be things about like kind of sadness, changes in appetite, changes in behaviors, mood, regular things that we commonly see that they do quite fine. When we see those kind of things, we may want to check in with them and ask them because they do trust us.
Right, okay, so now that we've established that they do need help, I feel like there are a lot of resources available, but there are also often barriers to accessing those resources. In your experience, what are some of those barriers that you hope will change in the future?
Right, so some of the barriers, we know that sometimes stigma, kind of outside as far as in relation to mental health and seeking service. We know mental health is a sign, seeking mental health is a sign of strength, right? But sometimes getting that message out. I think this generation now, and individuals nowadays with social media stuff, they're being more advocates. So now trusting themselves, especially at CSUN and stuff like that, they come seek mental health. We have a lot of students coming in, and that's a good thing.
Great, okay. So for someone who wants to support a loved one who's going through this, that conversation can be difficult and not taught really. So can you go over in your expertise some of the do's and don'ts of what to do while trying to have a conversation with someone in need?
Okay, right. So a lot of times, if we have a loved one or somebody that we are close to, that's the hardest thing to go out there and have that conversation, right? Because we care for them. Sometimes we have to get rid of that stigma that we believe that just because we ask a question that we're going to implant something in their head. That's false. That's a false narrative, right? Usually, if we can observe, say that we're coming from a place of empathy, we identify behaviors that we notice that is going on with them, and why do we care about this, validate their feelings, and then offer them hope. They're saying, hey, I will work with you to get help. Those are usually kind of keys to success.
Right, okay. And so one way we can reach out for help, I believe, is technology. Technology is a huge part in taking the first step to reach out for help. How have you recognized that technology has been a benefit for those looking to seek support?
Oh, yes. Technology, we know how during the pandemic and stuff like that, one thing, while there were many negative things on that, one thing that came up is that people got more in tune with technology. We've had things like remote telehealth, mental health services and stuff like that, right? We also, through social media, more information that was giving out that people utilize, and it had them support help-seeking behaviors. So it was those kind of things that made it more social, that we got more people in.
And in the same way, if technology can be a good resource, how can it also be a bad resource for those looking for help?
Yes. So sometimes when we talk about that it can be a bad or a non-desirable, is if people are getting things right, if it's not being peer-reviewed, if it's not kind of empirical science, or if it's just someone just kind of giving an opinion. One thing you'll find about with therapy and things like that, the individual client and stuff like that, they take the journey. If someone is telling you, hey, this is the only way, and stuff like that, one size fits all, that's not going to work, right? Therapy is about that one-on-one individual thing, right? So that's why sometimes with technology, we don't want to generalize. In therapy, we want to be more personalized.
Right, and you brought up a good point with telehealth, like digital therapy appointments. Can you talk a little bit about the differences between maybe an in-person therapy session and a digital one, maybe pros and cons for both?
Okay, yes. So when we talk on this, right, so we know the traditional one-on-one, just like how we are talking here today in personal, making that eye contact, we can see body behavior, we can read on cues, and just humans being around, we're social individuals, being around people that can help us out, right? But we also found this for some people that doing remote or telemental health, they have benefits too, because we want to be inclusive and things like that, right? So sometimes some people, because of distance and things like that, they may not have the capability to travel for mental health. A good keen therapist, whether I'm one-on-one with you or remote, I still can get that stuff as long as we can see each other, see the nods and stuff like that. So sometimes some people talk about body behavior mechanics that may go against, but the therapy and the approach is still, the clinician does the same thing.
Right, that's a great answer. So with so much access to digital mental health resources, why do you think there's so much stigma behind reaching out for help? I mean, go for it, go for it.
So we've seen, right, as much as we talk, there's always going to be stigma, right? Sometimes this can be cultural, societal, or things like that, right? People still see sometimes therapy as a sign of weakness. But like we tell people, is if you get hurt, if I get a broken arm, nobody questions me about going to the hospital and get treatment, right? So sometimes with mental health, because it's in our mind and it's our being, people have these different opinions. So sometimes getting past that stigma, saying, no, we're doing this to get help and that we can recover and continue on productive life.
Got it. So going back a little bit in an earlier question, I talked about how other people can recognize when a loved one is going through something. Sometimes it's difficult in ourselves to recognize that we're going through something. Can you talk about maybe some signs that we can do some self-reflection, understand, oh wow, maybe I do need to reach out for help?
And sometimes for some people it is difficult to see if we need supports, right? But a lot of times, for what I say, we do those same things, right? If we noticing a change in our mood, right? Maybe somebody may even tell you, it seems like, hey, you are like different. Maybe like a key sign, like maybe more irritability, right? More anger. That can be a sign of many different things, but it's showing that your body is trying to tell you something, right? If you're getting overly anxious and stuff like that, right? Your body's telling you something. I think the biggest thing is sometimes we need to listen in on that. If we're seeing changes in our diet, our sleep pattern, right, and our motivations, those are kind of internal signs that we can check in with someone. Doesn't mean they're going to be diagnosed, but check in.
Right. And so once we've identified that we need to check in with somebody, especially for CSUN students or students in general, sometimes our schedules can be really, really busy and we don't have time to have a telehealth or an in-person appointment. What are some things that you can practice when you realize maybe you're going through something and you need just a quick calm down moment? What can I do?
Well, for CSUN students particularly, there's a good thing. On our website, we have this app called iChill, right, through this community resilience model program that we have here, right? We're spreading that on campus. This can give us kind of ways where students can self-regulate with emotion, right? We always want them to come into therapy, but we also want people to be self-sufficient, right? That's the whole thing about therapy, is that you can produce. So one option is that, or we have resources on our website and on our YouTube channel and things like that they can help, and then that can complement the work they eventually come in to see us for.
Got it. And can you talk a little bit more about that? Since you work in mental health counseling as well, can you talk about some of the resources that CSUN provides to students?
Oh yes. Yeah. So as CSUN students, they get individual therapy, right? We do psychotherapy groups. We do workshops, right? Outreach like we're doing here. Right. Psychiatric consultations and couples, right? The two CSUN students, they can get couples work, right? It's free, it's confidential. We want them to come in to get that help, right? Because it really can help them. And then we do a lot of workshops, like next week, we are doing a mental health awareness fair, right? We're gonna have the dogs there and stuff like that, right? They're kind of broadcasting to get rid of that stigma. But throughout the year, we always gonna have different kind of workshops. They can look on our social media pages, check on our website, and join in.
And for my final question here, wrapping up the show, I heard dogs.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about how animals help mental health, like mental health support animals?
One of my favorite things out there, because in the past, I used to do some work with the American Humane, dealing with veterans and service animals, right? So we see what I tell people with service animals or emotional support animals, there's a little distinction there, at least in my thing here, right? Usually with like the service animal is focused in on the individual.
Wow.
Right, like an alert system, right? They kind of let them, they palm and stuff like that, and then they'll use their self-regulated techniques. Now, emotional support animals, you are focused on the animal, using that as a self-soothing thing. You know, having animals and having that relationship is wonderful, right? And it really helps people, so that's why we like to promote that.
That's wonderful. Okay, well, I think that's all the time that we have here for today. So I'm gonna wrap up. All right, thank you, Dr. Milton, for joining us and contributing to this vital conversation about suicide prevention and mental health awareness. Your insights have been both informative and impactful. Let this be a reminder that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness, and support is always within reach. Back to you guys.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Simone Warren.
And I'm Hayden Standen. For stories any time of day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN.